Hello, you're watching my YouTube channel. I am your host, kamranarshad. Today, I've invited a guest for my vlog, and I want to discuss her life, her visions, her goals, and most importantly, her fate. Hello again, and welcome. We are delighted to have Shristi Mangal Paul here today with us. Shristi, thank you so much for joining us today, first of all.
Thank you, Kamran, for having me. It's a delight to be interviewed by a fellow colleague, and you do great work. I've been following your show, your YouTube show, and you do great interviews. So, yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you again. Shristi, but to kick off, could you tell us what inspired you to pursue a career as politics, culture, and technology journalist, and most importantly, media presenter? And perhaps share a bit about your journey leading up to your current role.
Right. So, I have a background in psychology. I studied psychology, and I was
Mm,
working in forensics.
mm,
And then I decided psychology is not really my calling, and I want to become a journalist.
mm,
So I changed my field and I started working in technology sector here in Germany.
mm,
And even that was very interesting because tech is up and coming as a journalist.
mm,
But then you realize at some point of time, the real thing that matters as a journalist are people. And when you want to cover people, then it's politics and culture, because I wanted to show and represent my culture, people of color living in Europe, living in the Western part of the world. So I changed my stream. And now I cover stories about people and not just technology. Obviously, technology affects people. And, with the new things like AI and big data coming up. But the core of my reporting, the core of my work is how people are affecting each other and how people live their lives.
mm. Shristi, every journalist have his own beat, right? So what is your special beat, like health, fashion, politics, technology, and any other? What is your specific beat you work for?
It's a good question. I think beat is the right word. We all have a beat. We all, we dance to in our heads our rhythm. As a journalist, I love documenting cultural stories,
Mm,
culture and politics, where they meet the
mm,
intersectionality of it. For
mm,
example, the stories of Rohingya refugees who
mm,
find refuge in a different country, the story of immigrants, how an immigrant comes from a different country and finds refuge or settles in a new place, how technology affects, for example, the rise of artificial intelligence, how that is affecting the new workplace. How do we interact with each other now? When you go to your office, do you greet a robot or do you greet your fellow person? So much is changing. So I think the beat of my journalism still is and would continue to remain people. I think even politics involves people changing now. I mean, I was documenting the current elections in India, where the elections just, they came up with a result where Prime Minister Modi is once again in the winning center.
yeah.
And there we were seeing how much of a rise in deep fakes and
Do you cover
artificial intelligence.
Pakistan news?
I do. I also follow Pakistan news.
Really?
I was
Okay. What do you
following the
know about
fact that
Pakistan politics so far? Do you know Imran Khan or
I
now Shehbaz Sharif?
Nawaz Sharif used to be prime minister a long time ago, and back when I was following Pakistan news, I used to follow Pakistan coverage and the Indian coverage, and I used to compare it. And Nawaz Sharif was, well, he was not the best portrayed person in media. So back when Imran Khan came, when he first came to power, we were all very excited, all South Asians, like, oh, he used to be a cricket star, maybe he'll change Pakistan for the better. But that didn't really happen, and all the allegations against Imran Khan, in fact, it broke my heart because I used to be a fan of his cricketing career. But as a politician, he didn't quite win me over.
He is
So
in prison
I
right
think
now.
I follow the, as in right now, I think Pakistan has to set its priorities correct. As a journalist who's following it, I think Pakistan would do really better if it joins hands, if it joins forces with its South Asian neighbors. I look forward to the day where I can report a story on India and Pakistan working together, becoming a South Asian ally and a superpower, because we have the potential.
Shristi, how did you get
So,
into this
inshallah, that day would be
journalism?
great.
How did you get into journalism? Because you are a female, so you can get any other. You have some options. Obviously, you can go to the fashion industry. You can go to the teaching. You can go to the other professions. So why journalism? Because journalism is very difficult for female as well. They have to face
Well, I
some
think every
challenges.
field is difficult.
Sorry.
But I think as a woman, I think every field has its shares of challenges. Um, I think for me, I'm also a woman of color in a European country. So for me, that challenge was double fold, tenfold. The one advantage I had was that I speak quite a few languages. I speak Urdu, I speak Hindi, I speak French, German, I speak English, and I wanted to use that. If I speak languages, that means I can connect with people wherever they are in the world, and I understand people. And I had a background in psychology. I had a background in, well, I would say I had a flair for languages, and I like talking to people.
Then why
As a
didn't you
journalist, you
choose
have to like.
psychology profession? Because it definitely it engaged you to the people.
I
Why
think I chose
journalism?
psychology because it's very interesting. The human mind is so interesting. We humans, we work in a very interesting way.
Hmm.
So you talk to people, Kamran, for
Hmm.
a living, and every person is so different. So
Yeah.
once you get to understand how people work, because you never do, because people are so diverse and so very bloody complicated. But once you get the hang of it, a hang of talking to people, and you think you can, like kind of break them a bit, I think that makes it so interesting. And as a journalist, you can use that skill set as a psychologist because you sort of understand people. You know where they're coming from. You know when every sentence that they formulate has a meaning behind it. Once you get that, I think it helps us become better journalists. And I hope that it has helped me thus far.
But right now, I would say you have chosen a right profession.
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right.
Coming from a colleague, it's great to hear.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on, Sheshti. Can you tell us about your journey as a journalist, covering politics, culture, and technology? How did you get started in this field, in these specific fields?
Yeah, it's an interesting story. I always wanted to be on camera because when you watch different reporters and newsreaders growing up, it's not because it's the fame. I don't think journalists ever really become famous. People know us when we reach a certain audience, but we never become famous like celebrities or movie stars. But we reach people, and I think we do a very important job of telling people what's going on. We keep
Mm,
people informed.
mm,
And I wanted to do that. The first job I landed as a journalist was when I was working for a small agency who was reporting about all things technology in Germany. So I was doing exhibition news. It was a small job, but I had a lot of freedom. So I used to take my own camera team, my own, audio guy, and I used to go to people randomly and say, "Hey, do you want to be on camera and tell me the truth?" And people want that. People want to speak the truth. And yeah, that's how I got started in journalism. I love writing. Out of all the things, I love writing, and I love getting stories, stats and bits from there and here, and telling a story with it. So that's what I like to do.
great. Actually, I want to ask something. It's something personal. You are not very active on social media. Why? Because you are a journalist, so everyone have to follow you. I have reviewed your LinkedIn account, so I didn't find any video or any clip for the program or anything like that. I'm sorry, I don't know. I have to ask this question or not. If you mind, then I really do apologize on that. But why you are not active on social media? Because we use social media for research, we use social media for getting updates, what is happening in every country. It's a one click information, so we just click on that and we can get a lot of information. But if I want to know about Shristi, so how can I find her?
It's a good question, and it's a
Hmm.
very journalistic question. You have to
Yeah,
ask the hard questions. I am not very active on LinkedIn
yeah.
because I don't like to show people, oh, this is what I've done, this is what I've done, this is what I've done. If I do my job correctly, then the media that I produce for, I work for Deutsche Welle, which is the public broadcaster here in Germany for the rest of the world. It's one of the biggest public broadcasters in the world. And when I do a story for Deutsche Welle and they put it out and that reaches people, for me, that's enough.
But everyone
And
know,
I get my
everyone don't have that access, na? So this is my question. If I am following you on your LinkedIn account, so I have to see your videos, what you are doing right now, where you are right now, and what reward did you get from that news as well, you know? Because I want to know you because I just have access on your LinkedIn account or a Facebook or a YouTube channel. So you're not very active on that. I appreciate your opinion, but my opinion is different from yours.
well, you're
Sorry
entitled to
again.
your
Sorry
opinion.
again.
No, you're entitled to your opinion. I think I'm rather active on Instagram, but I have a private account. I'm a very private individual. I like to keep my life rather private
Hmm.
because I think as a journalist, you can make yourself a target for
Hmm.
unwanted attention.
Hmm.
And it's dangerous when as a journalist, I've written stories. I was once banned from LinkedIn. Here's a story. 1 year ago, I was banned from LinkedIn because I shared a story about how China's Huawei is intervening with data security. And so, yeah, I landed in some trouble
Hmm.
in Facebook and on LinkedIn. And I like to keep to myself. I think as if you're doing the harder stories, if you're doing stories that get you in trouble as a journalist, it is important to make a safe space. And social media is very unforgiving towards
Yeah.
journalists.
Hmm. Yeah.
So I don't want that attention, you know? I
We
want a
are
quiet,
we are the
peaceful life.
victims. We are the victims.
Exactly. And one wrong story, one wrong word will destroy your career. It will
Yeah.
destroy your personal life. And I don't want that. I have a very peaceful
So you
personal
see,
life here
public
in
opinion
Germany.
matters,
Of course it does. Nowadays it does.
but the
One wrong
people
like.
who are engaged with us on social media, they actually just know what's the journalistic ethics, what the journalistic norms, and they just used to comments that you are a bad guy, you are doing the wrong thing. They don't know actually what was the story of that. They don't know what was the context we are speaking, right? So how can we deal with those people?
I think the court of public opinion matters, to go back to the
Okay.
question that you asked.
Mm.
Nowadays, if you like the wrong comment on social media, you can get cancelled, you can get
Yeah.
fired from your job,
Mm.
especially
We can
on
block
topics such
them.
as
We can block them.
how many people will you block?
Yeah.
You know, and what does blocking achieve? Those people are going to go on other accounts and troll other people. You know, the hate comments. I mean, I receive hate comments on a
Because you are
daily
a
basis as
female.
well.
Because you are a
Oh,
female. And a beautiful as well. So this is the main reason, you know.
I don't know
they
about beautiful, but
they get
beautiful.
jealous from you, na?
So the hate comments, they keep coming, and I don't want to profile myself. Maybe
Mm.
someday, you know, God willing. Um, right now, at the point of career opportunities that I get, the
Mm.
point of life where I am in, I want to leave the social media on the back of my mind, because social media can be a very toxic place and it affects your
Mm.
work.
Yeah.
And especially the kind of stories that I do, I go and talk to the people affected directly,
Mm.
and I get my information from social media. I am
Mm.
active passively, but I don't have a profile of myself because, like
Yeah.
I said, my dream is not to get famous. My dream is to do good journalism. So, you know, and you
All right.
found me, even though I was not
Uh,
active on LinkedIn, you found
I
me.
I respectfully disagree to you. Let's move on.
You are welcome to disagree.
All right, all right. So you see, how do you navigate the intersection of politics, culture, and technology in your reporting? I mean, are there any particular stories that stand out to you?
Yes, intersection of politics and culture a lot stand out to me. uh, Different continents, different countries have different stuff going on, and I find a lot of things interesting. I find what's happening in Europe with the talk about right extremism rising. So Europe has this new wave of right extremist politics really getting into power. And that's interesting because I'm not originally from Germany. I'm an Indian woman living in Germany. So I find it really interesting to see how the German media portrays this. In Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, I find it rather interesting seeing how the politics is developing and how people are not buying what politicians are telling us. For example, the recent election results in India showed Prime Minister Modi was expecting to win a landslide victory, and he didn't. Because the people now are getting intelligent. You know, social media drives public opinion. And it
Mm,
used to be the fact that people used to watch TV news, read TV news, listen to speeches, and they used to form an opinion. But that's no longer the case. And that's a good
mm,
thing.
mm,
Also, I find interesting the whole refugee situation that's going on in different places in the world. I particularly find interesting UK is passing several new laws. The Rwanda bill I find extremely interesting. Are they actually going to, send asylum seekers to Rwanda? Why? And I also find it interesting that we have a prime minister in the United Kingdom who's of Indian origin, and he's very unpopular.
mm,
So, to see the fact that South Asians, how we have risen, South Asians are kind of ruling the world. Wherever you go, you see the South Asian diasporas are really performing well. And we are at every central organization in the world. We are very powerful, yet we are not united. So I like those kind of stories, I
mm.
really do.
Impressive. Impressive. Okay. How has technology changed the landscape of journalism and media presentation during your career?
Oh, a lot, a lot. I think in a couple of years, you and I would have to have a serious conversation about, are we doing enough or are we getting replaced by AI, artificial intelligence,
Yeah. Actually, I started my career from radio. Then I joined PTV as news anchor as well because there are a lot of things has been changed. The style of the anchoring, the style of the presentation, and most importantly, the style of the story writing as well, right? Okay, go ahead.
No, you're right. I mean, when I did news, I used to do news for, well, the way we've seen it. And now people don't want that anymore. People don't want a news anchor sitting in suit and tie and reading news off a teleprompter. People want news on TikTok, on
Hmm.
Instagram. It has to be like under a minute. Give me the hottest information and relate to me, make it personable to me. I wear a piercing and always wear a bandana whenever I'm working. And people used to say, you don't look professional. But people don't want professional. Our audience doesn't want professional anymore. Audience, our audience wants trustworthy, reliable, everyday people telling us what is happening. And if we don't change the way journalism has been done for all these years, we are not going to survive as an industry. AI is going to take over.
Hmm.
And I am not scared of AI. I think I can do a better job than AI because I understand people. I'm creative. And AI has to be fed with data. So we will do that job. But yes, technology, there's another big word out there. It's called big data. Big data is the new word that's, in journalism right now. I can't tell you so much about it because it's still developing, but I know for a fact it'll be the new thing in journalism in another 5 years. Another new thing would be, well, are we going to have people in journalism at all? Back in the day, when you used to produce a news show, you would have 25 people working on one news show. And now, as a journalist, I should know how to produce, edit, record, present. I have to be a one-trick pony. Not a
Hmm.
one-trick pony anymore. I beg your pardon. I have to do everything.
Hmm.
So I'm really interested in seeing how it develops. Yes.
Hmm. Great. Shristi, what do you think are the emerging trends in politics, culture, and technology that journalists and media presenters should pay attention to?
I think three different fields. In tech, like I said, I think AI is going to change a lot of things. In culture, I think journalism has to make sure that we document cultures before they are wiped out. I think the cultures in the hearts of villages and indigenous cultures, especially, are dying. And
Hmm.
we as journalists are failing to document them
Hmm.
because we concentrate so much on the global culture.
Hmm.
Social media, wherever you go, you see everybody, dresses the same, everybody speaks the same. So we're losing the individuality which our cultures used to give us back in the day. And when it comes to politics, in Europe at the moment, the discussion um, is democracy going to survive if right wing conservative politicians come into power? The same thing is in a debate in the US. You have somebody who has been, Donald Trump has been dragged into court. He literally has charges against him. And then we have the current president, Joe Biden, whose son is also facing charges. And we have politicians, two men, two old white men in power who don't have the best records. They don't have clean slates on their names. So now, more than ever, politicians have really let us down. And journalists have to step in, because if we don't, there is no bridge between politics and the people they promise to serve, you know? And I think now more than ever, we have to show politicians for who they really are. I think now is the time for investigative journalism. Now is the time that journalists go into field, tell you what's really going on. We need war correspondents. We need reporters in the field. We need to get out of our studios. We need to get off our benches and our desks. Because when I follow the reporting on Gaza, when I follow the report in Sudan, the wars that are going on, I feel we need way more coverage. We need more coverage and different coverage. We don't need photos and visual evidence of what is only happening, as in bombs going off. We need to show the affected people. Take one protagonist and what has happened to them. How is the war affecting this one person? Because, again, from my psychology background, humans relate more to humans and not to buildings that have been destroyed. So I think we have to think about our storytelling. We have to think about the perspectives we are trying to cover. So I feel great. This is a good time to be a journalist.
See, did you ever feel that we are getting lazy day by day while AI technology we are using? We don't research more, we don't manage time more, and we are looking for shortcuts.
This is a debate that's been going on.
I
I
don't
am
think
a young journalist.
I don't know actually it's the relevant question or not, but it comes to my mind to ask you because we are getting lazy day by day. We are looking for shortcuts. We don't research more.
Well, I am a Gen Z journalist. I'm very young. And I have been accused of, oh, your generation doesn't like hard work. But I think my generation does it, if I might say so, even better. Some things we do better. We are not getting lazy. We have just realized that there's this thing called work-life balance.
All right,
Yes, I want to
okay.
produce good
Yeah.
things, but I want to take care of myself, you know? Earlier, back in the day, a journalist, especially war correspondents, would go to different war zones, report, see horrible things, and they would come back with post-traumatic stress disorder. They would be traumatized. Now, in our generation, we think mental health is very important as a journalist. As a journalist, you're exposed to all kinds of bad things, and we take care of ourselves. We don't work 18 hours a day, 12 hours a day. In the amount of time we do work, we get things done. And we are more efficient in terms of research. At least I can speak for myself. When I research something, AI helps me because I know how to use that tool. AI doesn't do the research for me. It makes it easier so I can concentrate on the storytelling part. Back in the day, a journalist would spend months on researching something and then would have 1 week to come up with a good article. In our case, the research is quick. So we have time to actually call people, dig up records, dig up public records, go to places and interview people. And so for the storytelling, so we come up with better visual ways of telling stories, we have more time. And thus our stories are more creative. Unlike journalists back in the day who would well, do a very dry report with numbers, 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 facts, and figures, we do more catchy storytelling. We make one video reel under a minute and it reaches millions of people. So I think, yeah, our generation is different. We are young journalists, but we have figured out our job is important and the people we serve is important, but so are we.
As I got your point, I came to know that AI is only a search engine, right? We have to use that for research purpose, and it's all, right?
There's more to AI. For
Yeah.
example, AI helps you in fact checking. AI will find you evidence deep, hidden deep in the crevices of internet that you never could have done without the help of external people like, I don't know, IT experts, cybersecurity experts. AI makes a journalist very, very independent. For example, geolocation. I can tell you if I saw where you're sitting now, right? If I do geolocation, I can tell you exactly where you are at this point, the exact location on Google Maps, and I can dig these things up. And so that helps me fact check my information. With AI, I can find out if it's search engine optimized. Okay, I'm writing a headline for a teaser or something, and I can ask AI, so this is my headline. Is this catchy enough? Is this going to go on the internet and get viral? So AI is more than a search engine. AI is data that you can use for anything, literally anything. But then again, we have to be careful with the amount. AI is getting better day by day, and if you're not careful, deep fakes and all that's coming up could make life difficult. So we have to be careful.
Okay, Shishri, you have told me in the start of the interview that you can speak a lot of languages, and you said that you can speak Hindi as well, right? So can you speak a little bit
I
Hindi?
can, yes. जरूर बोलिए.
Okay, कुछ भी बताएं आप.
मैं क्या बताऊं. मेरा जन्म असम में हुआ, जो उत्तरी दक्षिण भारत की जगह पे है. मेरी माँ असम से है. और मैंने हिंदी लिखना पढ़ना उर्दू भी वगैरह सीखा. हालांकि जब मैं स्कूलिंग मेरी हुई ग्रेट ब्रिटेन में, मेरे माँ बाप को लगा कि उसको हिंदी सीखना चाहिए, उसकी भाषा है. आसामीज, बंगाली, हिंदी, ये सब मैंने सीखा क्योंकि जब आप विदेश में रहते हैं और जहाँ यूरोपियंस के बीच में रहते हैं, अगर आप अपनी भाषा नहीं बोलते तो आपकी खुद की आइडेंटिटी कुछ
So
नहीं
आपकी मदर लैंग्वेज हिंदी है फिर, राइट?
नहीं, मेरी मदर टंग है बंगाली.
बंगाली?
बंगाली.
Impressive. Impressive. All right, Shishri, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a wonderful having you here and learning from your experiences. But before we wrap up, is there anything you would like to share with our audience or any message you would like to share?
Stay curious and be kind to each other on social media. No hate comment.
All right. Thank you so much once again. Have a blessed day, Shishri. It was a
Thank you,
wonderful
Kamran.
having
Khuda
you.
Hafiz.
Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz. Bye bye.
Bye.